Hey YouTube, it's your boy Widgie here, coming at you with another Age of Mythology Retold video. And in this one, we are looking at a nice, easy beginner opening for Thor. Now, I am taking into account the recent patch notes, whereby dwarves can no longer gain favor from attacking herdables. So there was a thing that you would normally do, very micro intensive, and I think a lot of people, especially beginner players, are quite scared of Thor because it is a very micro intensive start. However, I've got a nice, streamlined, easy opening here for you. And I must caveat, this is not the min-max. This is not the min-max, the meta, the best of the best opening you can do. But it's pretty darn good and it's pretty straightforward. So without further ado, let's go ahead and click that play button. So what we're going to do first are 3 dwarves that start. They're going to be going over to the gold mine. Quite straightforward. And immediately you're berserk. You're going to be building your armory and you're going to be getting a house. Ideally, you want to put the armory in a defensive position behind a tower just in case, and also a house around the tower as well would be quite nice. Now, if you don't know with Thor, whenever you get armory upgrades, you get a free dwarf. So we're going to be getting 2 armory upgrades before we go into the second age. Now, our first dwarf is going to be going over to gold. Another thing about this build order, we're just making dwarves. This is a dwarf-only build order and opening, and ideally, we're just going to use dwarves throughout the entire game. We're not going to mess around, switch into gatherers, anything like that. So what you want to do is you want to have 5 on gold, right? And then after that, you want to be rallying your dwarves to a tree. Now, this is... You see the nice tree fall there as I've paused the game. This is the min-max caveat that I said at the start. So it's not proper min-max. We are going to have a little bit of travel time of this wood to the TC. Sometimes you can get it quite nice when you have a tree that's like here, for example, might be a little bit closer to the ox cart. If that is the case, go ahead and grab that tree. Most of the time, though, you are going to have a straggler near your TC. So get the one that's closest to the TC, and you want to be rallying dwarves to it. And we want to get 4 dwarves on to the wood there. Now, when your armory's built, what you're going to be doing, first upgrade you're going to be getting is copper armor. Now, I really suggest that you right-click queue these upgrades. Okay, so copper armor, right-click it. If you don't have enough resources just yet, don't worry, right-click queue it. When you do get the resources, it will automatically start training it and researching. Make sure that you do that, because if you're a beginner player, you're probably going to forget. So make sure you do it. Okay, so we do have the copper armor, which is the hack armor upgrade. We've got 2 dwarves now on wood. And our berserk's going to go off and scout. We don't need to train a second berserk. We don't need to switch to gatherers. We don't need to move the ox cart around and mess around. We're not doing that. We're just going to be getting a final 4th dwarf on the wood here. Now, when that upgrade comes through, the first one, what you just need to make sure to do is rally your dwarven armory. So make sure that you take the dwarven armory and you right click, and what you want to do is you want to rally it on your nearest huntable. Now, this map was kind of a bit unfair to me. We do have boars here. I probably should have attacked the boar with the TC and brought the boar down that way, but instead I've taken the deer all the way over here. So we're going to have quite a bit of travel time here, unfortunately, but sometimes the map can be a bit more forgiving for you. But what you want to do is build an ox cart, ladies and gents. We want to build that ox cart. And we're going to now be rallying dwarves to food. And that's it. We're not going to be messing around with the rallying at all with the TC until we start to get into the second age. So we're just going to leave it there, get all dwarves over to food. And then we want to make sure that we are right-clicking that copper shields. And the reason that we want to make sure that we do this, we want to start trying to queue the copper shields in after we've built this ox cart. Don't do it before, because it will use the resources and then you won't be able to build the ox cart. Once you've got this ox cart built, then you get your second upgrade, which is the copper shields. And that's going to give you a second dwarf from the armory. And that is all you're going to be doing from the armory, ladies and gents. That's it. So now it's all over. That's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can see here I'm trying to get this boar to come in. You just need to be rallying those dwarves to the huntables. And we're trying to aim for 19 or 20 dwarves before we click that button and we age up. Now, I was a little bit slow here because of this time of walking here, this walk time. it has messed it up a little bit. Now, you can see we're getting this little bit of problem here. Now that you can see, as we see a second straggler tree going down there, when you've used up this straggler tree, just make sure that you're ready to move those dwarves quickly onto the second straggler tree. And what you want to make sure to do now is you want to make sure that you have enough wood for a temple. We want to get that temple up. That is the next thing we're getting this wood for, is a temple. So we nearly got it now. Berserk has come back, ready and waiting to put that temple down. We've got enough coin. Look at that macro, perfectly there. 130, 130, ready to go ahead. I should be dropping the temple. There it goes. Sorry, 135 and 150 for the temple there. And we're going to be getting that down now. Now, the last thing that you want to worry about for your wood is you want to build your final ox cart for the wood line. So you can see here, there it is. Now I'm using those 4 dwarves and I'm going to be getting the ox cart up. So there we go. Okay, so you can see I'm getting very close now to 400 food that I need to get. So I've got 5 on coin, 4 on wood, and then the rest, which were 9 here, on food. And I'm just a little bit behind here. Now, the reason that I'm not immediately queuing is because of this walk time that I had. I had a bit of a struggle here with the hunts. So you're gonna see me force drop very quickly there. Force dropped, and then boom, we're going to be going for the age up of Forseti, which is a very good age up for Thor because it's a very defensive age up. I would recommend this most times to go for Forseti, and that's exactly what we're doing now. Now, one final thing before I finish the video here for your opening as Thor. What I suggest you do, immediately right-click Q your copper weapons and your hammer of thunder. Now, what you need to make sure to do as well, which I've sort of forgotten here, is immediately start trying to queue a couple of hearses out of the temple. And the reason that is because hearses generate favor for you. They passively generate favor, and you're going to need that favor to be able to get Hammer of Thunder, which is going to cost you 100 coin and 5 favor. And you have copper weapons here, which you'll be able to start to get very shortly. So just bear all of that in mind. And I like to try and macro here for around, the majority on food, and then sort of a split on wood and coin here. So I've got 5 on coin, 5 on coin, 6 on wood, and then the majority on food for now. And the reason I like to keep majority on food is because of upgrades. So you can see now the Dwarven upgrade, I'm getting copper weapons and Hammer of Thunder. I've right-click queued them. They're going to be queuing up. We're going to get 2 more dwarves from this armory. Now, what I suggest, the reason that I suggest going for 6 on wood is so you can get that infrastructure down. You're going to need to build a house, definitely 2 houses, and probably 2 military buildings. That's going to cost you in the region of 300 wood. Okay, so having 6 on wood is quite nice. And I like that. I keep it like that. It's entirely up to you. You can maybe put 5 on wood, maybe an extra on coin if you're struggling. There is the age up. I have the healing spring available. You can drop that down immediately if you want to. I'm going to leave it in base just in case I do get harassed on the wood line. Remember, Thor is quite defensive early on until we get our eco up and we can start to get map control. And you can see immediately going to be right-click queuing the second age upgrade here, the Dwarven Breastplate. Just keep that in the queue. Make sure that you do get that. It's a really, really nice upgrade. Great for Berserks and Herdmen as well. And you can see I'm getting the Longhouse, and I'm going to want to put down a Great Hall as well. I've got a lot of wood available. I'm going to want to get that. Start to maybe queue some Throwing Axemen and all that good stuff. So, ladies and gents, this is an opening for Thor. Many ways you can play this. You can decide to go quite cav heavy. You can go for Hersa raiding cav, can be quite nice. If you are going to do that, maybe don't worry about the Dwarven Breastplate until a bit later. Depends on how you want to play. If you're against a civ that's going to be, a civ or a major god that's going to be quite cavalry heavy, you might want Dwarven Breastplate because it's Herdmen and Berserks. They're very good against cav as a front line. That can be good to get. I like to also start to get Hand Axe and also Pickaxe in so I can really get some decent eco. That's really greedy. If you feel like you're under pressure, maybe don't get the Hand Axe and the Pickaxe until a little bit later and instead use the resources to generate some units. Now, what I do for the food is I normally split my dwarves here. I will probably have half go over to either the chickens or the berries. The other half, I will send them out on the map. So there's a perfect huntable right here. I'll go and send half over here, and I'll kind of do a split. So I won't have all of my food gatherers in one place. I'll have half probably out on the map, the other half in the base. And then I'll start to think about getting the herdable upgrade in the near future. And then the final option for food is to then transition onto farms. But there's many ways you can play this. I tend to just solely stick to making dwarves. I never stop making dwarves. The only time that I would stop making dwarves is if I'm under a lot of pressure and I'm starting to lose gold mines and I can't get out on the map. I might decide to shift macro towards making gatherers and spending the food on the gatherers rather than spending the extra coin on dwarves. So hopefully this is a lot easier for you, more straightforward. Let me know how you get on. I tend to age up around 4 minutes 40. 4 minutes 50. It is a late age up, but you do have the extra dwarves and gatherers, and you've got those eco upgrades and also the armory upgrades as well. So Thor is a slow burner, but as you start to transition into the mid game, you will be pretty unstoppable. So hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video or the next stream. Catch you later. Bye.